Well, good evening and welcome to Facebook Live from Llanwenneth Baptist Church. My name is Richard Miles and it's good to be with you once again today. And just to tell you that we have now, my wife and I, Anne-Marie, my wife and I have been living in Cyfeillen for, well, it's about 8 months coming up now. And it is an absolutely wonderful place to be. I actually love living here. It is beautiful. The surroundings are lovely. The view from here is spectacular with all the mountains that are around. And it's just a lovely place to be. But also, since we've been living here, we found that it's a very warm, welcoming place. We have felt very much at home here and been welcomed very warmly into the village. So if there's anybody here from the village of Cyfeillen watching today, then a very big thank you to you for that, for making us feel so welcome and so much a part of things in Cyfeillen. And also for our church family at Llanwenneth. Once again, we've been made to feel very welcome by those people as well. So thank you so much for that. And that is important because as we're made welcome, we become part of a community that are indeed here. And yesterday we had a really lovely afternoon in Cyfeillen. We had what's become an annual fun day for the village, and there were a few stalls in the field just down the road here, and it was just great to be part of that. We had a stall there, which is a White Elephant stall, where we got to sell a few things. But there were various different things and activities going on in that field. But it was an opportunity to be together, an opportunity to be part of the community. I know community life is a wonderful thing. Some people would say that nowadays, the whole thing about community life is that it's becoming less and less common than it used to be. We're not so much of a community as we used to be. And maybe there's some truth in that. But I would suggest that here in Cyfeillen, that trend has somewhat been changed, because this is a village where there is a sense of community. There is a sense of people knowing each other and being concerned about each other. And I was taking a funeral service a couple of weeks ago in the village, and the number of people that arrived from the village to that service was wonderful, because it just showed the fact that the people who live here in the village knew the person who was deceased and had spent time with them and got to know and love them. And that again is a wonderful thing, the fact that there is that sense of connection around us. And that is a very important part of the way that God made us. Because I honestly believe that we were meant to be in community together. We're not meant to be in isolation now. I know that some people prefer their own company. Some people prefer to be with other people. And that's all to do with difference of personality and temperament, isn't it? Some of us are what are called introverts, some of us are what are called extroverts. And that's fine, because that's the way that God has made us. And there's nothing wrong with either of those. Whatever you might feel today, whether you really like being in other people's company or whether you prefer your own company, that is part of how God's made you. But in general, it's good that we're part of a community. Good that we can become a community together, as we are here in Cyfeillen. That's something as well which the Bible talks about for the church, for those of us who are Christians. We are part of the body of the Lord Jesus Christ. Paul the Apostle talks about that. We are all one body in him. Again, we're meant to be together. We're meant to worship together. We're meant to, again, be the community together. And so, as we are the community together, as a church, and we in Llanwenneth Baptist are a community of people, a community of Christians, that community is part of the wider community here in Cyfeillen. And of course, The community here in Gavilan is part of the wider community in the Abergavenny area, which is part of the wider community in Monmouthshire, which is part of the wider community in Wales, which is in wider community in the world. If you want to take it further than that, that's where you end up, isn't it? We're all part of the human race in different places. But the point is this, that we are to act in a certain way as we are together in community. And as Christians, we are to show something of the love of the Lord Jesus Christ to those who are around us, to those who are in our other community, to our wider community, so that they will see something of him. And we are, as the Bible tells us, to live good lives. I want to read you a verse that the Apostle Peter wrote. And he was writing towards the end of the first century, when there was a lot of trouble for Christians, a lot of persecution amongst Christians. And he writes this. He says, in the context that you're in, as you're facing people who are maybe not with you, always be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks you to give a reason for the hope that you have. But do this with gentleness and respect. Give a reason for the hope that you have. So, as Christians, as Christian believers, as the body of the Lord Jesus Christ, we have a hope. We can say that because we're trusting in Jesus, we have a hope that goes beyond this life, that goes into the future and beyond. And that's wonderful, because we can be then certain that we'll go to be with the Lord Jesus Christ one day when we leave this earth. That is a hope that we have. And we are to live lives that show that hope, so that people will see that we have that hope. And the way they see that we have that hope is that we live good lives, that we live in a way that helps others, in a way that shows the love of Jesus towards others. And then as we do that, people might start saying, well, yes, I can see that you behave in a certain way. Why is that? And then you have the opportunity to explain the hope that you have. Give a reason for the hope that you have. We can say, yes, we have this hope because of Jesus and all that he has done for us. We have this hope because we believe in the life, the death, the resurrection of Jesus. And he's made it possible for us to have this hope. But we are to do it with gentleness and respect. And that's something very, very important indeed. You know, we're not to be people who shout and point the finger and start getting really aggressive with people. That's not the way that the gospel of the Lord Jesus Christ is shared. Because we are still part of the, as I said a moment ago, the wider community. We are still part of, as the church community here in Gavilan, we're still part of the village community in Gavilan. And we don't want to be those who are always pointing the finger, always saying, look at us, aren't we wonderful, look at us, we're better than you, or pointing the finger in some way at what other people might be doing. No, we're to show gentleness and respect. And I trust that as we are involved in community events like the one that we did yesterday, that gentleness and that respect will be seen by other people. And when they see that, when they see the way that we are, when they see the love and the friendship that we have towards other people, towards the people that we come into contact with, we're going to be friendly towards people. We're going to be kind towards people. People see that. And they may say, yes, what makes you like that? And then when people ask that question, we then have the opportunity to say to them, it's because of Jesus and all that he has done for us. Now, we're privileged in Gavilan because, as I said, this is a wonderful village. And in many senses, it is easy for us to be kind towards the people here because people have been so kind towards us. But of course, there are times when there are people who are not kind towards us in the first place. And so we've still got to show that same love of Jesus, that same gentleness of respect, even if that is the case. But for now, we're, as I said, very grateful for being here and part of Island. So once again, thank you to those of you who live here. And as always, thank you to you for who've been watching today. It's always good to have you with us for Facebook Live. And please, if you'd like to make a comment, you're able to do so below what we just put here. And also, you can find our website. If you look for Llanwenneth Baptist Church, you'll find details of us if you use the search engine that you're using to find details of that. You can look at our website to find out more about who we are and what we do. In the meantime, may the Lord bless you all.